Hello students, today we are going to take the 6th chapter from our political science textbook, and the name of the chapter is Political Parties. We all know how important political parties are in a democratic country. Let us see what is written in the overview of this chapter. In this tour of democracy, we have come across political parties several times. In class 9th, we noticed the role of political parties in the rise of democracies, in the formation of constitutional designs, in the electoral politics, and in the making and working of governments. In this textbook, we have glanced at political parties as vehicles of federal sharing of political power and as negotiators of social divisions in the arena of democratic politics. Before concluding this tour, let us take a closer look at the nature and working of political parties. Especially in our country, we begin by asking two common questions. Why do we need parties? How many parties are good for a democracy? In the light of these, we introduce the national and regional political parties in today's India, and then look at what is wrong with political parties and what can be done about it. तो ये एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चैप्टर है पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़. खास करके आजकल के ज़माने में हम देखते कितना पॉलिटिक्स चल रहा है, हर तरफ सभी चीज़ को लेकर पॉलिटिक्स है. और 9th क्लास में हमने पढ़ा है पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ के बारे में कि एक डेमोक्रेटिक नेशन में पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ का कितना अहम किरदार होता है, कितना इम्पोर्टेंट रोल होता है. लेकिन इस विषय को ख़त्म करने से पहले हमें एक बार पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ को और नज़दीक से देखना है, ख़ास करके हमारे इंडिया के पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ में. सो टू अंडरस्टैंड द पॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन इन इंडिया और इन डेमोक्रेसी, वी नीड टू आस्क सम क्वेश्चंस. हमें कुछ सवाल पूछना है. पहला तो ये पूछना है कि पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ इतने ज़रूरी क्यों होती है, कि डेमोक्रेसी में पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ का क्या किरदार है. और दूसरा सवाल ये है कि कितने पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ एक डेमोक्रेसी के लिए अच्छे होते हैं, ख़ास करके इंडिया के जैसे कंडीशन को देखकर. तो आइए चलते हैं हम इस चैप्टर के डीपर हिस्से में. वाई डू वी नीड पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़, जो पहला सवाल है उसको लेकर हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ आर इजीली वन ऑफ द मोस्ट विजिबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस इन अ डेमोक्रेसी. फॉर मोस्ट ordinary citizens, democracy is equal to political parties. So that is what the general public, they believe that democracy and political parties are the same. If you travel to remote parts of our country and speak to less educated citizens you would come across people who may not know anything about our constitution or about the nature of our government. But chances are that they would know something about our political parties. At the same time, this visibility does not mean popularity. Most people tend to be very critical of political parties. They tend to blame parties for all that is wrong with our democracy and our political life. Parties have become identified with social and political divisions. So if we go to remote areas, to the villages, and there we will ask that what type of government is the government of India, they may not know that India is a socialist republic, democratic country. They will only know that at the most some of them might say we have a democratic form of a government. We'll be lucky enough to get such people. But they would definitely know something or the other about the political parties. They might be knowing the name of the political parties, they might be knowing of some of the leaders of the political party. But this does not mean that that particular political party is very famous because they know that what is Kamal or what is BJP or what is Punjab, what is Congress, what is Cycle. which party will cycle, that doesn't make the popularity. People tend to see the negative aspects of the political parties. They tend to criticize the political parties. They feel that all the problem in the country is because of the political parties. So we must not attribute the knowledge of political parties for the popularity of that particular political party. Therefore, it is natural to ask, do we need political parties at all? About 100 years ago, there were few countries of the world that had any political parties. Now, there are few that do not have political parties. Why did political parties become so omnipresent in the democracies all over the world? So we are not talking of very long back, we are just talking of a century ago, and almost all the countries in the world had few or no political parties at all. So what is the reason that today we find almost in every country there are some political party or the other? Let us find answers for what political parties are and what they do before we say why we need them. So basically, to know why we need political parties, first of all we need to know what are political parties. What do they do? What is their main duty? What is the main function of a political party? Let's see at the meaning of the political party. A political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. So what is a political party? A political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. They agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. Since there can be different views on what is good for all, parties try to persuade people why their policies are better than others. See, in a big countries like ours, everybody has their own ideas, their own aspirations, their own desires. So the main concept of the political party is to first and foremost is to contest election, and then to hold power in the government and have certain agendas, certain policies by which they can run the government. Now for that they will have to convince the population, because they are the people's representatives, that what goals are good for the entire society. Everybody might be having different aims, different aspirations, different goals and different desires. The political parties cannot satisfy everyone, but they have to satisfy the majority one. For that, first of all, they have to make their own agenda, their own policies, and they have to convince the people about the betterment of the policy, in what way the policies are better for the society. They have to convince the people so that they would be re-elected in the coming elections again. They seek to implement these policies by winning popular support through elections. Thus, parties reflect fundamental political divisions in a society. Parties are about a part of the society and thus involve partnership. Thus, a party is known by which part it stands for, which policies it supports, and whose interest it upholds. A political party has three components: the leader, the active members, and the followers. So, a political party is actually a partnership among the number of members in that political party. Each member has a part to play in the partnership. So, with this, we are very clear that a political party is made up of three components, comprising one, the leader who directs everyone; second, the active members who act according to the direction of the leader; and the third, the followers. Each one has an important role to play in a political party. With a strong leader, The leader is able to convince his members, his political members, his partners, and they together form a policy and try to convince their followers, their supporters. The party with the maximum supporters will win the general elections. Function of a political party. What does a political party do? Basically, political parties fill political offices and exercise political powers. Parties do so by performing a series of functions. So the main function of a political party is to fill the political offices, the government offices, the high posts, the position of power has to be in the hands of the political parties. If they have the power, they can perform a series of functions. Without power, they are unable to perform any function. Parties contest elections. In most democracies, elections are fought mainly among the candidates put up by the political parties. Parties select the candidates in different ways. In some countries, such as USA, members and supporters of a party choose its candidates. Now, more and more countries are following this method. In other countries like India, top party leaders choose candidates for contesting elections. So, see, different democracies, different parts of the world, different choice of leaders. The more educated countries will choose their own leaders, will choose their own representatives. But in developing countries like India, it is a political party who chooses their candidate, who chooses the face of the party. So, parties in the USA, what they do, they first, the members and the supporters, they will choose a candidate. Then the debate is held between the opposite political parties. There will be an open debate where things would be discussed in if they are elected to the office of the president, of the prime minister, what policies are they going to implement. And then these people with an open mind, they vote for their particular candidate rather than voting for the party. But in countries like India, we vote for the party. We have our own favorite parties. We may not even know the leader or the candidate who is contesting election, but we might know the leader of the political party, and because we know the leader, we vote for the particular candidate. Second, parties put forward different policies and programs, and the voters choose from them. Each of us may have different opinions and views on political policies are suitable for the society. But no government can handle such a large variety of views. In a democracy, a large number of similar opinions have to be grouped together to provide a direction in which policies can be formulated by the governments. So what do political parties do? They have certain policies, they have certain programs. On these policies, these are the policies that we are going to implement if we are elected to the office of the Prime Minister. We see the general policies that what is this government going to do? Everybody would be given a job. We are going to provide free food for the poor people below the poverty line. Free houses would be given to the poor. New roads would be constructed. We'll invite more MNCs into India. We'll create job opportunities. So these are the policies of the government. The party would try to find out what is the need for the majority population. Since everybody has a different need, no political party can satisfy everyone. So they form policies, they form programs. In this way, when they are elected to the power, when they are elected to the seat of the Prime Minister, when they are elected to the government, they implement their policies and programs, and they try to meet the aspiration of the majority of the population of the country. That is what party do. A party reduces a vast multitude of opinions into few basic positions which it supports. A government is expected to base its policies on the line taken by the ruling party. So whatever the ruling party decides, the government generally follows the ruling party, the policies of the ruling party. Ruling party. Parties play a decisive role in making laws for the country. Formally, laws are debated and passed in legislature. Another important function of the political parties is once the political party comes into the government, the political party forms a government, it starts to making laws. It starts to make laws. Before the law is introduced, before the law is made, it has to go through a legal process. It is tabled, it is debated, it is passed in the legislature, then it is enacted as an act. Parties play a decisive role in making laws for a country. Formally, laws are debated and passed in the legislature, but since most of the members belong to a party, they go by the direction of the party leadership, irrespective of their personal opinions. So, when a law is to be made, every individual might have their own opinion, but when the law has to be voted upon, when the bill that is to be passed has to be voted upon, the entire political party will vote as one in favor or against the law that is being passed, the bill that is being tabled. They may agree or disagree, but they will have to agree with the party leadership. Whatever the leader says, the remaining members of the political party abide by the decision made by the leader. Parties form and run governments. As we noted last year, the big policy decisions are taken by political executives that come from political parties. Parties recruit leaders, train them, and then make them ministers to run the government in the way they want. So, even in the political parties, there are certain people, certain leaders who have very responsible positions. They are called the cabinet ministers. They are called the council of ministers. It is these council of ministers, these cabinet ministers who hold important portfolios, who hold important offices, and they are the decision makers. Whatever decision they make is passed downwards to the other the party members, and the other party members have to toe in line with the decision made by the council of ministers, made by the cabinet of ministers. Those parties that lose in the elections play the role of opposition to the parties in power by voicing different views and criticizing government for its failures and wrong policies. Opposition parties also mobilize opposition to the government. So, it's not that the political party which has lost has no role at all to play in the government. In fact, they play a very important role by checking the government. They have the authority to ask questions, to oppose any unjust policies that the government is trying to implement, to try to vote out any unjust policies which the government is trying to implement. The political party, the opposition party, can bring out the failures, the shortcomings, the wrong policies of the government, and the opposition parties can mobilize the opposition to the government. Whenever the government is not doing things which are popularly needed to be done, it is the opposition party which can mobilize the opinion of majoritarian people and try to win the next election on the basis of the failures of the government. So, those parties which lose the elections, they play a very important role of the opposition. Number 6. Parties shape public opinion. They raise and highlight issues. Parties have lakhs of members and activists spread all over the country. Many of the pressure groups are the extension of political parties among different sections of the society. Parties sometimes also launch movements for the resolution of problems faced by people. Often, opinions in the society crystallize on the lines parties take. So, most of the leaders of the parties, they have the gift of gab, they have the gift of talking, they have the gift of convincing the people. So, the parties, they have lakhs and lakhs of members all across the country and lakhs of activists. These activists are spread all over the country, and through the activists and through the party members, the party leadership reaches to the public. It tries to convey the message that the party has to the general masses. They try to mobilize the opposition, the opinions of the society according to their own terms and according to their own ideologies. So sometimes what the parties do, they launch certain movements. For example, when the Bharatiya Janata Party were in the opposition, they highlighted the corruption that was prevailing in the Congress party at that time. They highlighted the expenses of the gas cylinders, the petrol. The BJP was a very good opposition party. Because it was a very good opposition party, because it highlighted all the shortcomings of the Congress party, the Congress government at that time, they were able to win the elections in 2014. The Congress failed to be a good opposition party. Therefore, even after the election, after losing the 2014 election, they were unable to come back into power in 2019 because they are unable to highlight the shortcomings of the government. The government at present is highlighting what they are doing, what all they have done. So, a political party, whether in the opposition or whether in the government, they have to highlight issues, they have to bring out issues, they have to create issues. Many of us say that India is a developing country, India is a country with rich resources but poor people. Tell me, why are people poor? Because the poor people are the vote banks of the political parties. How many of the rich and high class go and vote? What is the percentage of the rich and the high class in the society, in the country? Then comes the middle class. The middle class people, what do? Most of the time they sit in front of the television and they will either blame the government or they will blame the opposition. They'll criticize them. When it comes to voting, they may or may not go to vote, and they are so few in number that the votes are hardly counted. The votes hardly matter. It is the poor people who are the biggest vote bank of the political parties. The political parties has to address this vote bank. If they are able to convince the poor people that they would do good for them, they might come into power in the next elections. The question that I put here, that why are poor people poor? Because the political parties don't want them to become rich. If the poor people start becoming rich, they would lose their main vote bank. So it's like the Hindi muhavra is na, oot ke muh mein jeera. So just before the elections, they will do something a little for the poor people, and the poor people feel that, yeah, the government is good for us, the opposition is good for us, they have done so much for us. They are satisfied with that. Point number 7. Parties provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes implemented by governments. For an ordinary citizen, it is easy to approach a local party leader than a government officer. That is why they feel close to parties even when they do not fully trust them. I remember when I was young, when when I had just passed my 12th standard during my college days. I used to live in civil lines, and we had a small cricket club, and our cricket club needed cricketing kits, and whatever little pocket money we used to have, we were unable to afford a cricket kit for a cricketing team. So what we did, we went to the our uh, our localities, the person who contest election for that particular area. We went to him, Khasdar or Amdar or whatever he was. He was a renowned political leader. We went to him, and sir, we said we belong to the Friends Cricket Club, and we wanted to sponsor us our bats, our balls, and mats and stumps. And lo and behold, he gave us, because he knew that it is the youth. If I win the youth, these people will canvass for me. These people will vote for me. We found it easier to go and convince the party leader, the member of the particular political party, than to approach the government institution, the sports department, asking for kits for the youth of a locality. So people tend to feel closer to the political parties. They may or may not agree with that particular political leader, but they feel close because they are approachable, they are at hand. That is why they feel close to parties even when they do not fully trust them. Parties have to be responsive to people's needs and demands. Otherwise, people can reject those parties in the next election. So, in this case, that particular leader gave us a kit bag, and he came for the inauguration of the pitch when we had rolled it out nicely and put the matting on that. He came there. He brought his own team. He had brought a few reporters. He tried to gain maximum publicity. And of course, in the next election, we were very happy that this particular leader had done favor to us. So the people are very cunning. These leaders are very cunning. They try to take advantage, and as we try to take advantage of them, they try to take advantage of us. Now, why political parties? Why political leaders are a necessity? Why do we need political parties? This list of function is a sense of answer to the question asked above. We need political parties because they perform all the functions. But we need them, but we need to ask why modern democracies cannot exist without political parties. We can understand the necessity of political parties by imagining a situation without parties. So, why do we require political parties? First, we have to imagine a society where there is, or a situation where there is no political parties. Every candidate in the election will be independent. So, no one will be able to make any promise to the people about any major policy changes. The government may be formed, but its utility will remain ever uncertain. Elected representatives will be accountable to their constituency for what they do in the locality, but no one will be responsible for how the country will be run. So, if we don't have political parties, the candidate who contests election will be responsible only for his constituency. He will try to satisfy the needs and demands of his locality, but the general good of the country would not come to be highlighted. There will be no major agenda how to run the government, how to take the country forward. Every leader would have a different demand according to the different needs of his locality. So the situation will be very chaotic. There will be chaos everywhere. So therefore, this example is a very good example to prove that why do we need a political party. We can also think about it by looking at the non-party based elections to the panchayat in many states. Although the parties do not contest formally, it is generally noticed that the villages get split into more than one faction, each of which puts up a panel of its candidates. This is exactly what the party does. That is the reason we find political parties in almost all the countries of the world, whether these countries are big or small, old or new, developed or developing. So here another example is given about the panchayat election. In the panchayat election, actually no political parties contest the election. The people from the village, the villagers who are in the village, they contest election. But here too, the villagers tend to form the panels, groups. Panels are groups. These panels are supported by political parties. They are sponsored by the political parties. So now we get a very clear picture why political parties are required all over the world. Whether they are rich countries, whether they are poor countries, whether they are new countries or old countries, every country has to have a political party. The rise of political parties is directly linked to the emergence of representative democracies. As we have seen, large societies need representative democracy. As societies become large and complex, they also need some agencies to gather different views of various issues and present these to the government. They need some ways to bring various representatives together so that a responsible government could be formed. They need a mechanism to support and restrain the government, make policies, justify or oppose them. Political parties fulfill these needs that every representative government has. We can say that parties are a necessity condition for a democracy. So in a democracy which are directly linked to the emergence of representative states, means where the people are elected to power, what we see that large societies, they need to have a representative democracy. Or everybody cannot make a decision. Every citizen may not be in a position to take decisions, to make decisions. Therefore, we have to have representatives. And when we have representatives in the society, these representatives must be grouped into a particular political party, so that there is a leader who could channel all the various demands of the society and try to form a majority demand policy. A policy that can satisfy the majority of the people of their constituency, of their locality. That is why we require a political party. So how many parties should we have? We will discuss this in the coming class.